think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not.
You know, if you're recording, that's fine.
Recording.
It's recording. You have. Holy fuck!
Live.
Shit. We've got allergies.
Well,
oh boy, the dust. It's the dust this time.
No,
it's
this
dry.
is a good zone.
Yeah. So, are you going to be able to throw this up on the drive afterwards? Do you think?
Throw it up wherever you want.
Yeah, I can throw up anytime you want when we're talking Spawn.
That's right.
That's easy. I guess it's still Halloween. It was Halloween like 2 days ago, but this is still a Halloween episode.
No one's taken down decorations yet.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I
Yeah,
see
it's
we saw some pumpkins.
yeah. We saw someone taking pictures of pumpkins. So that it's still pumpkin spice latte season. So it's still spooky out there.
Fall.
It's cold. Cold is the grave. I'm just trying. I'm trying so hard to transition to Spawn.
Yeah.
That's as good as you can get.
Yeah. So this is going to be a quick one today because we're live. Another rare live thing, but we have a limited amount of time, and we just wanted to check in on Spawn because Spawn hit issue 350. I don't know what fucking month that was. Does it say here? February 2024. So we're a little behind, but don't worry about that. And we thought we'll check in. We'll do the Batman Spawn crossover, War Devil. I'll do the who the creators and everything were later from 1994, and we'll just talk a little bit of Spawn, see how we feel, see if we still think it's the greatest comic book series since Savage Dragon. Most notable thing about issue 350 is that Todd McFarlane has absolutely nothing to do with it, and I don't think that it made it worse, and I don't think that it made it better. But I don't know how you guys felt. What's the general impressions on Spawn 350?
Confusion, I would say.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna put my cards on the table. I read the first collection of Spawn, and then I jumped to 350, and a lot has happened in between.
Yeah. What was most shocking to me about this issue is that even though James and I had sort of we've dipped in every 50 issues or so. Not only did I not know what was going on, but there was such an incompetence in the comic writing that, it opens up with characters talking about other characters, and you don't know anything about them. There's no introductions to anyone. You're thrown in medias res, but not in a way that is in any way skillful. I don't know who these characters are. I know who Todd is. It's weird that Wanda is so central, but also so passive.
Yeah,
but,
she's there to witness. The thing
and suffer.
Yeah. Because it's better. If you're talking to me, and my choices are suffer in hell and watch the thing, or it might not be safe if they fail. I think I choose the safety of not suffering. But
yeah, well,
Wanda's a real trooper.
She's a devoted wife.
Yeah, devoted. How do they put it? Former partner. Or former
Spawn's
wife.
former wife.
Former
That's
wife,
right.
not
Yeah.
ex.
Yeah.
They're on good terms.
Yeah. After escaping from heaven, she traveled to hell, hoping to help Spawn on his path to the infernal keep. Her role fulfilled, she watches from the sidelines now.
See, that's a pretty good introduction.
That's not bad. It did bring me up to speed on what Wanda's is, but I still think that there's no.
Well, there's a big fight going on, and there's immediately basically the Venom verse.
Yeah.
A symbiotes of all shapes and sizes apparently, which are also clearly hell spawns. There's the Redeemer, who, to the best of my Spawn lore knowledge, is an angel.
Yeah.
Has no fucking business in hell.
Yeah.
No explanation for any of the battle royal. And then there's a pervert hellspawn guy.
Yeah, I bet this would be really great if you knew who Sin was, because he's really important to the whole thing. But
yeah, fat chance of that though.
I went and looked it up. Do you guys know what his deal is?
No. Sin with two ends.
Sin so he wasn't always Sin. He used to be Cain, from
Cain.
the Bible. and then stuff happened. Many encounters with Spawn, but then he started absorbing souls of Hellspawn, and then became Sin. And now he's on a mission to take the throne of Hell.
Okay. And he's doing his best Lex Luthor impression, which I really appreciate. This is a great design. I don't think we talked about. Okay, so the creators on this script / plot. Todd McFarlane apparently had something to do with says additional script, but who the fuck knows with it. Rory McConville. No sense who Rory McConville.
That sounds made up for sure.
Yeah. And we got art by Brett Booth and Carlo Barberi. Now, I learned from the back that Carlo Barberi had been doing the art for a while, and that's sad. Because this is not, like... It's the most generic and bland nothing art. And it makes me sad to think that Spawn was illustrated by this person for any length of time.
That artwork looks like the kind you get in those, like, pop-up, like, kids comics.
Yeah.
Like, they're not supposed to really hit the shelf for, like, mass print.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but otherwise you got Brett Booth doing it, and Brett's delivering.
Yeah, it's solid, very solid.
Yeah. Like, and the storytelling's pretty good. I mean, the action's a little strange, and you can't always follow it.
Well, Brett Booth's from an era.
Mm-hmm.
The problem here they have using Brett Booth is clearly there are no women for him to draw.
That is a problem. There's one.
That's where Brett shines.
Yeah.
It is sort of the in the image era of boobies.
Yeah. And then we got colors by J. David Ramos, which is pretty good. Well,
Really
I guess,
nice, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I guess Carlo Barberi did the inks over Brett Booth. I think I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah, I want to do a shout out to our boy Tom Orzechowski, who has been doing all the lettering for 350 issues of Spawn. He's an industry pro, and I think it shows in some of this. Like sometimes, like the Redeemer has a cool little
Flourish.
box around. I think Sin's got a little thing. Like this is like a side job for Orzechowski.
I like that they just kind of like cut like hand to the skull of Malbolgia. It's just like it has nothing to do with anything. It's just like he would be really happy to see the chaos that's happening now.
Yeah.
But it's not like he's coming back. He just gets like a page worth of like filler.
Yeah, but mostly this is just a big brawl.
Yeah.
For page upon page.
Metal as fuck. Like is this a disappointment if you're a Spawn fan? I bet not. Like it's
no.
like
I would think
it's
not,
epic.
no.
Yeah, they're coming for the throne of Hell. It's a 3-way fight. I assume this has been built up. Spawn has like a holy like chain gun that he pulls out that's been forged by Heaven. That's pretty cool.
It lasts for 1 second.
Yeah, it had pretty minimal effect.
Yeah. Is that the best you can do? I like that the clown. They don't call him the Violator. They call him the clown.
That threw me. Yeah, I don't get
Yeah.
that. Is he like a different?
I'm gonna go with copyright issues, but I don't know. I don't know. Like we've been reading these comics for a while. Like did they call him the clown in the other ones? Was he called the Violator? I don't know.
I'm not sure now.
Yeah.
He's kind of like on juice now.
Yeah. He's huge. And again, getting back to the Juggalos. I mean, like this is.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, man, this is where it comes from. This has to be where it comes from.
I bet you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
like ICP, like late '90s, like they would have hit the full influence of Image Comics.
Oh, you mean like been influenced by
where
it?
they came out of?
Yeah. No, I've always assumed that, and I think this has always contributed to my prejudice with respect to the Juggalos. Is that they're just like they're born of the Violator, in Spawn and that kind of thing. And it always I was like, guys, come on,
Nice.
what are you doing?
Yeah, have some respect and be real murder.
Yeah, but I don't know. It could very well be could be as simple as like Murder Clowns from Outer Space, though, like B movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of possible origins.
So I would respect it a bit more if it was from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. If it's from Spawn, then we're gonna have words.
I think one of the problems I always have with Spawn is he's just a cipher. Like I don't know who he is. I don't know what he cares about. I don't really know what his powers are. I've mentioned this before. I still don't even coming through this issue. Sort of. He can fire some green energy. He can get his powers taken away. I like how they specifically talk. Like some of the clunkiest dialogue. Like Spawn's comeback. You're the one who won't be leaving. And then there's at the end they're talking about check your powers. Do your powers work? No, my powers do not work. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I will say one good thing about Rory McConville or whatever. This 5 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, like kind of moving around, I was like, okay, well that's a good framing. Like they managed to actually build a sort of tension in what's going on, but it's ruined by the fact that I understand what's at stake, but I don't know what's emotionally motivating everyone. Like why is it so? Maybe it's a stupid question, but why is it so important to control the throne of hell? Like why does everybody want it so much? And I guess they're talking about power and conquest, and maybe it's as simple as that. And maybe it's like saying it out loud. It's a dumb question, but
Yeah. The clown wants to burn heaven. Or he did burn heaven. He's gonna conquer it if he gets it. That's kind of cool.
yeah. But then okay.
Well, even on your 5 minutes ago, which I liked also, there's a conversation with Wanda where we're still not really sure why she's there. For
Yeah.
a point in time, it's like there's almost a hint that anyone could take the throne if they've been touched by love. So is Wanda going to take the throne? And then Nyx arrives, who we have no bearing on at all.
Yeah,
and this is maybe our fault, but she arrives, and then this is when Spawn steps aside for her to basically take the throne in this sort of flashback, and it's like you say, there's no motivation for it, and there's also no there now are even less stakes to Spawn. Spawn, like you say, just being this hollow cipher for this story. He's just a non-issue in the fight. So it's like, if he's not going to take the throne, what the fuck was?
I think he says something like, "It can't be me because I know that if you put me on the throne, I'm not gonna I'm gonna be corrupted by the possibility, the power's too much or whatever."
It's not like Nyx isn't.
Yeah, that's like Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Nyx is immediately corrupted by the power.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, well, if she had a weaker fucking soul and personality than you to begin with, what the fuck was that decision making?
Yeah, I guess it was it's rock in a hard place. You can't give it to Sin, Cain.
Yeah.
You can't give it to the clown. That's a simple, and he doesn't trust himself with it. And so, she's here.
That's true. She actually does. She seems like, she's not happy about it. But she seems to be a competent ruler of hell so far. So there you go. It is maybe the whole and again, this is I'm sure if diehard Spawn fans are screaming at us you don't understand. You should have read more. And maybe that's true. There's probably some emotion. I think it seems like this is an issue of emotional growth for Spawn. Mm-hmm. But that's sad. I don't.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure every major milestone episode we have read is it's meant to bring Al Simmons forward, bring Spawn forward, but it just doesn't happen.
No, claws back.
Yeah, just whatever happens in the interim, just regresses him, and then. Yeah, then you end up in this situation. Yeah,
where she scolds him like a shitty employee and just removes him from hell back to whatever Earth realm, I guess. And then it's that's supposed to be problematic, but we don't understand really why.
Yeah.
She's get out of my sight, and you're like, why?
Well, she has all sorts of knowledge now. She sees all the things, and I guess that's what happens. You gain a sort of dark omnipotence. And she's gonna do kind of she's gonna basically what does she say, new advisory council. So she's gonna try and democratize hell a little bit. So we're gonna get I am a little curious about the politics of hell within the Spawn universe. I do understand that it would be a fruitless exercise, as we keep saying over the course of the day. A thankless job, but just to provide some sort of I bet something this bad lends itself to complex readings that are often a lot of fun if you spend the time to get into it.
Yeah.
Which it's not going to happen.
No. And really
I'll see you in issue 400.
They just brought us back to Seasons of Mist, essentially.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But in the Todd Father fashion.
Yeah, melodramatic, heavy metal fashion.
Yeah, everything's about to change on Earth. And then we go, down to Earth, and things have changed.
Shit changes, indeed.
And why do we need a 2-page spread of this? Where he's, slap, and for people who can't look at it, it's just, Spawn just materializing somewhere. That's it. It's a 2-page spread. Use a 2-page spread for shock. He just shows up in, a factory with one giant foot. That's just so weird. What a weird design.
Wanda.
I like, and they did that like 200 issues ago. Like that's a Todd development.
The Megafoot?
The Megafoot and the big forearm thing on the I guess it's all on the right side.
Yeah, I feel like that could be dumped at any time.
Yeah. It's probably the reason he sucks so much. Just can't. He's got no maneuverability. It's all those spikes. They don't help either. And then they discover that like all across the Earth, Spawn doesn't have powers anymore. So we've got like that's the stakes. Spawn just doesn't have any powers anymore.
He never has any powers anymore.
Well, exactly, right? Yeah, like he's constantly. And they even did that thing where they showed the clock, the Spawn clock.
Oh no, that's
Like-
what I was talking to Chris about last
Yeah.
time. Was a Spawn clock on the way here.
Where is it? Ah, there you go, right at the end. Yeah. Oh, what does it mean? We're at 0001. Like I'm pretty sure Spawn's ran out of Spawn.
Power before?
Yeah.
I was under that impression also.
Yeah, I remember like issue 13 or whatever, which really felt. I don't know if it was issue 13, but it was pretty early. And then he went to hell, and who fucking knows? And then Todd writes and this isn't even. I remember being extremely frustrated with Todd's like final scripts. He writes Spawning Ground. Presents thank you, and he writes the thing, and like even this is gutless. Even this is like phoned in, because at least before he was saying like the most like incredible hyperbole, and just like this was blah blah. I don't even remember, but there was like it was nonsensical, like he was on crack and just like typing it out. He really seems to have like I think he was on drugs, and he's not anymore, and he's taken a step back and just moved on. But I don't know that's true. I mean, I think Todd is just high on himself all the time. It's kind of the. What I was saying to James earlier while you were occupied is that Todd is writing stuff, but he's writing Gunslinger Spawn. I think he says it here. Yeah, and he's got 4 ongoing monthly titles: Spawn, Gunslinger, King Spawn, and The Scorched. Oh, I would love to read King Spawn. I bet that's worthwhile.
Book it.
Yeah. Book it for sure. Gunslinger. We'll do the extended Spawn unit. I think we're going to have to if we're going to keep like by issue 400. We're going to have to read 4 issues of
400 issues.
400 issues. Really? Yeah. It's a new podcast, guys. We're getting rid of the X-tinction agenda. It's Spawning Ground now.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do we have anything else to say about Spawn 350? It's.
What more can you say?
Yeah, that's fairly complete.
Magnificent.
Yeah, that's okay. Out of here. Now, Spawn, Batman. So this one came out in 1994. It's written by Doug Mensch, Chuck Dixon, Alan Grant, who were the Batman writers at the time. Illustrated by Klaus Janson. And you might be saying to yourself, James, why do they have 3 writers on this? And why is Klaus Janson drawing it? And the answer is payday. So the way Denny O'Neil used to work back then, because he was an editor who actually believed in workers' rights and rewarding creators. He knew that this was going to sell like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of issues, and he wasn't going to assign it to one of the 3 writers. He's going to give it to all 3, so everybody gets a payday. And he's going to give the art to Klaus Janson because that guy's an old journeyman with DC. It's the same reason they gave the issue where Bane breaks Batman's back. They got that illustrated by Jim Aparo, because Jim had been working at DC forever. So they were like, okay, well, we're going to give it to Jim Aparo, so that way he gets a huge payday as a reward for his years and years of service.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Something in the plus side for Denny O'Neil.
Yeah, no, say what you want about the man, and I'll say many, that he fucking sucks. But, yeah, I like that. I think that's class act, and you certainly wouldn't see that. I don't think you'd see that nowadays. I think Jim Lee and all those guys. I think the idea of rewarding creativity, or not creativity, but rewarding success. Those guys kind of actually burned the bridge on that by striking out and starting their own company. They were like, oh, it doesn't. It's the wrong lesson to have learned by the big 2 corporations, I think, but. That was the lesson that was learned. It was like, well, don't give them a lot of money because then they're just going to fuck off on you. It's the UFC, WWE attitude that you're going to want to take. Make sure no stars get too big, and it's all about just churning out a bland product that has some thrills.
Yeah, you just keep everybody on contract. Don't pay benefits. Make them travel on their own.
Yeah.
and keep the pay skimpy. Want to work for Marvel and not.
Yeah, exactly. You want to work in the big leagues? Okay. Anyway, so this comic's terrible.
Yeah, so I know, and you guys are normally pretty. Actually, you know what? We shove Chuck Dixon to the front of the line pretty often. And also, Doug Mensch. I know there's some Doug Mensch fans in the house.
Absolutely.
But this isn't. Even Alan Grant. I have some Alan Grant comics. I like Alan Grant.
Yeah.
But I don't like this.
No.
I didn't hate this as much as you guys, but I do think it's shitty. So.
It's tough because you've got 3 writers who have. Doug's into magic and hell and stuff like that. Alan Grant's into magic and hell on that and all that stuff. Chuck Dixon's into writing rock solid, plot-based pot boilers, and they're doing their best to come up with an angle for Spawn because it's such a shitty product. It's such a shitty derivative concept that what do you do with it? How do you tie it into Batman?
You can tell that they also disrespected Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Pretty hard throughout this book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
No.
You ever fold a paper into 3 and one person draws the head, one person draws the body, and one person draws the legs?
Exquisite corpse, yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is.
This is an exquisite corpse, yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, because I think Chris and I were talking about spot the Mensch, spot the Dixon, spot the Grant, and every once in a while I could totally like this. You were joking about this where Batman confronts some sort of gangster guy and he's like, it's like, this is fine. There's this, you don't want me to call the cops. You're trespassing, and he's like, you win for now.
Yeah, and he's already beaten a bunch of security guards within an inch of their lives, and then confronted this fucking guy, and he's just giving bylaw lecture.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess I should. The colorings by Steve Buccellato, who was also long-term colorist and one of the I'd say one of the great colorists. Although you certainly don't get that impression from this one. But I think that's because Klaus Janson. Oh, Klaus Janson's doing colors as well. That's the problem. And then Steve Buccellato is doing something with the computer over top of it. And then you got your Todd Klein letterer. He was the guy that did Sandman lettering. He's another. It's him and Tom Orzechowski at this time who are the great letterers. Although I can't find anything in particular that sort of stands out to me. But anyway,
So basically, just that idea that they're insulting Spawn. I think there is a specific, a direct shot when early on, and Spawn is such a downer in this. He's just such a loser, but he says something like, if I could strip away everything, I'd become all the false gaudy color and awesome power. I feel like that was just a little poke there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. And then he's just, some of his lines are, no soul here or anywhere else in the world is more lost and lonely than mine. Lost, lonely, and damnable. A deal of my own making. It's fucking a 12-year-old goth girl diary.
I like the part where he's in the alleyway too, and he's trying to figure out, who was I? Was I a contract killer? It's this is the first fucking issue of Spawn that doesn't have any personality. They don't have anything to work with, so they're recycling the fucking pilot.
Well,
it's which is the funniest part. This is the Spawn problem. Yeah, is that there's nothing there.
Yeah, particularly because it's 1994. Spawn came out, if I'm not mistaken, in 1992, maybe late 19. No, it had to be 1992. So there was literally nothing. I mean, the Spawn Batman crossovers happened before Spawn hits issue 25. If I might be wrong about that, but I think it's correct. So yeah, there's nothing. There's just the vapidity of Todd McFarlane's teenage imagination at play, and they're trying to clean up a mess.
Yeah, you can feel them spinning their wheels, trying to work Spawn in. What's the basic plot here? So they start with the old American mystery of the Croatoan, the colony of 100 people disappeared, and it wants to build that out into this being a sacrifice. And so this guy Simon Vesper, has been behind the scenes, secretly a demon, which actually makes a lot more sense by the end of it because he's been around a long time, and now he's like, he did 100, now he wants to do 1,000 souls or more so that he can get his own little corner of hell. In the meantime, he's arranged for Spawn to assassinate him. Well, he builds a building that's going to like form a pentagram across Gotham, and then when he comes back, it all kind of comes together. He's gonna like enact his evil plan.
Yeah, I think as far as that goes, like tying it to a fundamental American mythology, the Roanoke settlement and stuff, like that's kind of cool. And
That's Doug.
That's Doug.
Yeah.
That's definitely Spot the Mensch. I like the thing. So they show like the mythology comes from the fact that apparently, I don't know if anyone's ever been able to verify this or what it's based off, but like, one, this disappearance of people actually happened, and two, this Croatoan thing was actually carved, or it is said to have actually been carved at the place where everybody disappeared. It's kind of mystery. What's this?
Higher than any man could carve it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, and honestly,
Yeah.
like, it's strange that I've never looked into this in any respect. I've always just kind of like, just let it go. But this is like, it's a tantalizing mystery.
And then immediately ham-fisted pull out to like, if only they looked above, and like there's like a form of like supposedly a
Yeah.
pentagram. Again, it's the same like Ghost Rider problem where they can't actually draw a pentagram; they just have to draw a star, so it looks stupid every time. But
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but still, though, I will say that it's kind of cool. I thought it was kind of cool when they zoom out later after the building forms
Yeah.
the pentagram. But it
Build
just,
it
you're
in
right, it looks like a
fire,
Super Mario
light.
star.
yeah,
Okay, so Klaus Janson is an excellent inker, and please have him ink all day long. I would really enjoy it. Don't have him pencil anything, and don't put it in front of my face.
That's fair.
I fucking hate Klaus Janson's pencils. I think he's capable of things, but he is not delivering on this. Like, his figures act pretty well. Like, I know what everybody's... And actually, I'm not sure I know what everybody's feeling. I know that Spawn looks really sad here, looking at the windows.
Yeah, there's a couple, like, he's a little surprised here. Whoa,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Blink.
So
He's got a real, like, old, kind of in a Daffy Duck way, though.
yeah, I like Jansen gets a lot of respect, and you know, the person who inked Dark Knight Returns is always going to get respect. But I've read those issues of Punisher that were also illustrated by Klaus Janson, and they weren't much better than this. So I mean, anyone who disagrees can just fuck right off. And like, look, Batman kicking Spawn here. Like, what the fuck? That's like, there's nothing going on there. I don't know if my voice just got cut out because of the book in front of my mouth. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The action is like, it fails on a basic superhero level, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, there's even a scene a little bit... Well, even in that scene, I think at one point he's like, I'm getting the beating of my life from Batman, and it's just... I'm not actually even sure what's happening during the beating of his life.
So the place where I found it was Spot the Doug, and it was Spot the Dixon and Spot the Grant. I think like this page where Vesper or whatever, he's using a computer, input, output, DOS and RAM, incantations and computerese. So this is Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon's got this idea, but then I don't know.
Alan Grant.
Well, Alan, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know Grant's work enough to know precisely when it. But it definitely had Doug mentioned a certain. Every age has its dark magic. What's the difference between a curse and a cursor? Like that. That feels like a mensch to me.
It could be a mensch.
Yeah.
Because it's stupid.
Yeah. Each has the power to reach out and ravage lives or whatever. Like, you can see everybody's like little hobby horses coming through.
But Ravage is not a Doug mensch. That's why I kind of felt like Alan Grant. Maybe that's like a a threesome.
I think one thing about Alan Grant
no.
is Alan Grant's an anarchist, like a political like a pretty far left, as I understand it,
Okay.
and I can't. But I honestly, his writing has never really interested me. But maybe there's an episode for us of just
I would do that.
getting
I'd
into
like
some
to,
Alan Grant.
I'd like to learn a little more about Alan Grant.
Yeah, because he's a very old hand and a also like he's one of those British invasion guys that didn't get thought of as a British invasion guy, and rightly or wrongly, but he's it would be interesting.
There was a little arc in Nightfall that he did, and it was I remember it just being like not great, but kind of interesting. So
Yeah.
Is he on was he on a lot of Judge Dredd or Grendel?
No, that's your Matt Wagner.
Wagner,
But
that's
yeah.
who I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Did he do? Was he on Dread?
He might have been. Honestly, I Alan Grant's so out of my mind. As like I only know him from his Batman work, and even then he was doing Shadow of the Bat, which was like your poor man's poor man Batman comic at the time.
Oh, I like some Shadow of the Bat issues.
Okay, well you can throw shade at me. That's
Some
fine.
Clayface, you know?
Yeah.
I like. What do you think about Vesper's like plan here as he executes it?
I don't think it goes that well. The only thing that goes well is his eye gouge.
Oh yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. Oh, that was like his little henchman, right?
Even Spawn rolls up on his fucking pentagram. It's like sloppy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Spawn's a master.
Yeah, it's true.
But this guy's a demon. Yeah, that's true. He should be a little better. I like his political speech about yeah. He's like talking about raising skeleton mobs at this like political event, and he's like, they're not the disease because they're past that. They're not the homeless, for they have homes as they're rising from their graves. And it's like, yeah, this guy's having some fun.
Yeah. Maybe that feels
And
like
it's
an
sort of
Alan Grant.
A weird fucking vision of like skeletons like coming together to like as brothers and sisters under one banner and like joining the living. Like is that what we're doing here?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing in the last 2 pages.
Yeah.
I guess.
You got kind of like the Ghostbusters, like everyone calling the police, like, "Oh, I saw the zombies coming from the grave."
Well, I thought about the building itself, though. It struck me like I was reminded of, the building was constructed by, what does he say? I don't know if this guy's a genius or what does he say? A nathetic wacko? Like, is that a word, nathetic? Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't think you're remembering that correctly.
Yeah, okay. Well, because it couldn't be nathetic wacko.
Yeah, but it was, because in Ghostbusters central to the plot is the fact that they built that building.
Yeah.
And it's got to be based on like Hawksmoor too, right? I think
I suppose so. Yeah,
Dan Aykroyd's like a real fucking occult weirdo too.
Yes, yeah.
Like you would probably know all that stuff.
Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves while I look up the word nathetic.
Right.
I'm just looking at the Croatan demon here attack Spawn. You're saying this? All of this was a plot to capture me? The dialogue couldn't be worse, and it's aggressively worse for Spawn.
Yeah, they had such a hard time working Spawn back in at the end. Like, there's no question about that.
Yeah. No, Croatan, I spoiled your pentagram. Are you a fucking Power Ranger? It doesn't go good anyway. And then Crotan's fucking speech is all in this like cursive that's just painful to read.
Is it aesthetic wacko?
Maybe
that makes sense.
I'm trying to find the. Okay, well, I'm gonna look this up later. A certified. Here we go. I found the. Here's an audio. Certified genius or an authentic wacko. Fuck. This is one of those situations where like.
The lettering concern.
Well, when I when you mishear a song. Excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Yeah, that's funny.
Fair.
You heard it live, folks. I just corrected something that's been in my mind for decades, incorrectly. Anyway,
And
sorry.
we might have skipped this one.
Yeah.
No, it's.
And then Spawn's all of a sudden also a necromancer. He puts the skeletons back to the grave.
Oh yeah, like with and there's no. It is weird because he has a limited amount of power. We know that. That's the important part of the Spawn. There's the Spawn clock. There's no spawn clock in here, which is a big mistake.
It's disregarded. Spawn's actually just popping off fucking beams.
Yeah.
Fighting demons. Batman actually hits him with a couple concussion grenades to save Spawn, who's like sort of like he's like sizzling on the ground and just like calling for help, kind of weakly.
I love
It's
that
just- I don't know.
the big like emotional moment for Spawn is that he doesn't know how to ask for help, but then he does. He finally asks Batman, and it's like he's got an arc.
Like that's the like the emotional beat of the story. It's like a fucking it's like an episode of fucking Mr. Dress Up. that's the moral fucking lesson for us.
Just learning how to say please.
We gotta and like that's how we got a Joy Division quote. It's
Oh,
love
yeah.
that finally tears them apart.
Is that at the end?
Yeah.
Right here when I remember her face, and and it's love that finally tears them apart. That's a Doug.
Yeah.
That's a mensch.
Yeah. What about the end? The man who knows his real face and wears it with no apology. The kind of man I'll be.
Yeah.
They really hate Spawn. They were just like,
This was just fucking bad on all fronts. Like it's like you put together like an all-star team and gave us the worst of each guy. It would have been better if Chuck Dixon drew it.
I like that both of these Spawn Batman crossovers, both of them, like, even when Todd McFarlane is drawing it and Frank Miller's writing it, at the end of the day, it's just like, fuck you, Spawn. Because, like, you remember the Todd McFarlane Batman Spawn crossover, it ends with the Batarang and fucking
right in the face,
Spawn's face. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, just everybody's, like, immediately, he just gets picked on. And, like, I guess the last laugh is Todd's, though, because like 350 issues don't lie, man.
oh yeah. Oh, and like the finale of this is like Spawn's big contribution. He changes the pentagram into a smiley face.
Yeah.
That's even that's not cool.
Yeah, Batman's like, the city has no power, you fucking moron.
And actually, it was pointless. It's like Croatoan, I spoiled your pentagram, and he's like, actually, that doesn't matter. Yeah, you would like, it could have been, because considering when the pentagram was revealed, I think that was a good use of like a pullback dark panel kind of thing. But like, it's just a tiny little panel with the smiley face. I mean, like, I feel a more competent presentation would have been like, he's on the ropes. Spawn's like, like, actually something, and then pan out, smiley face, right? And then like, but instead it's just like, it's nothing.
It's
yeah.
meaningless.
Yeah.
Also, they would take a lot of work to like rearrange a pentagram that crosses the city. Like,
Well, not for Al Simmons,
No.
computer genius.
that's because it's computerized. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. But still, though, why does he have those abilities? Why can he do that? Like, it's yeah.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
I guess you guys are right. This is terrible. I guess it was just like being a bit of an aficionado for Doug. I felt it was good for a Doug Mensch story. So
This isn't even good for a Doug Mensch story, though.
yeah.
Like there's no.
Don't believe it if he threatens competence.
Yeah, there's what would. Okay, so it's not a good Chuck Dixon story because the plot doesn't make any sense, and if there's at least one good thing about Chuck, it comes together well. You get some strands and they tie together, and then it's good. And there's good action sequences and stuff, and like everything opens up. So it's not a good Chuck Dixon story. It's not a good Doug Mensch story because there's not enough like biting sarcasm and like weird. There's a lot of weirdness, but his particular brand of social commentary isn't available. And whatever I know about Alan Grant, his politics aren't present. And they just like, it's too many cooks in the kitchen, and all brought to you by Klaus Janson and everybody. It just feels like a porridge. It's just like a disgusting porridge.
And you know what? Like, if you're gonna reward a bunch of people and throw them a fucking pizza party, which is what they did here, like, then there's still no. You don't need 3 guys to change a tire. Just have one of these assholes write the whole fucking book, and then put them all on it. Like, why on earth would you have them all included in the writing? And you can clearly tell they were all included.
Yeah.
In a hodgepodge. Like, did they fucking write half the speech bubble and have the other guy write the rest of it? That's what it looks like. Like a moron challenge.
I think that if we ever got And we should do this before Doug dies, and perhaps because Alan's Grant is gone, and I think if we were ever to interview either Doug Mensch or Chuck Dixon, it would just be about this and the experience of having produced this. I'd even settle for talking to Klaus Janson now. I wouldn't let him listen to what I just said about him fucking sucking. I'd only say nice things about him.
I'd like to call Doug and see if he still got this written on paper. Like, which pages did they let you write, Doug?
Yeah, well, that's the question. Yeah. Oh, can we see it? Oh, you lost it. You lost a computer, huh? Yeah, hard drive crash, eh? Yeah, I bet. Fucking yeah, no, yeah.
That's when he reveals. Dixon wrote it all and tried to mimic our styles. What?
We just sent him some Post-it notes, and he smeared it together in an afternoon. Which is entirely possible, the way these guys work. Even these guys are true workhorses of the industry, and I hope this paid for a Maserati for each of them. I don't know why I picked Maserati, but
I doubt it.
Yeah, you don't think so?
Yeah, at least a new patio door.
I just know, like, Chris Claremont, or is it Chris Claremont or Jim Lee? Like, X-Men #1 bought people mansions.
Jesus.
Yeah, like they actually made like millions of dollars, or $1 million, because they're selling like it's hotcakes at the time. Not a mansion, but they bought a house. You know, like they got enough money to buy like a big house that they previously weren't able to purchase. I bet it was something like that for these guys too. Although even in 1994, even as a 14-year-old boy, I didn't bother reading this. Like, I had access to it, and I skimmed through it, and I was like, this fucking sucks.
Well, I think the Todd father was still drawing.
Yeah.
So, like nobody wanted this bad art.
Yeah, well, Spawn Batman's coming out at the same time as Batman Spawn, and I wanted to read Spawn Batman, because it had Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane, and I didn't know who Frank Miller was at the time. Like, it didn't matter. It was just like, well, Spawn and Batman, and Todd McFarlane, all the things. It's peanut butter and chocolate. That's what I want. So anyway, that's our Spawn check-in. Whatever. I don't know how often we do this, but I'm sure we'll do it again. I mean it. We'll see you episode 400.
Yeah, and it won't be peanut butter and chocolate.
Or issue 4. No, it's just gonna be. There, that's it.
Now all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.